Chapter 6100. The Other Side. Mai Ching looked at Jacob's reply and was a little confused. She thought that when she mentioned inviting Jacob's family, Jacob should know that as long as he made an excuse and said he didn't have time on the wedding day, this would be the best way to solve the problem. But she never expected that Jacob would ignore her, and instead replied very simply, "No problem, our family of four will be there on time." She couldn't help but be confused, and thought to herself, "Jacob, what do you mean? Do you really want to bring Elaine to the wedding?" Thinking of this, she couldn't help but frown. She didn't want to see Elaine, especially at her wedding. Pollard, who was writing the invitation, saw Mai Ching's solemn expression and couldn't help but ask, "Mai Ching, what's wrong?" Mai Ching said truthfully. Jacob replied to the message. He said he would bring the whole family to our wedding. Really? Pollard didn't have Jacob's weird brain circuitry, so he couldn't figure it out. He said, it stands to reason that he is so afraid of his wife. So he shouldn't tell his wife such a thing. Why would he want to bring her to our wedding? I don't know. Mai Ching sighed. I'm confused by him. I can't understand what he was thinking about. Pollard thought about it. Thinking about it, he said with a smile. To be honest, I can see that he still has old feelings for you. You are suddenly going to marry me. He may be a little angry. The whole family will come to our wedding together. Maybe there is an element of anger. Mai Ching shook her head and said, "This? I can't comment on." Pollard smiled and said, "Actually, it's understandable that he did this. After all, we will all settle in Aura's Hill in the future. Regarding your matter, he can't always hide it from Elaine. Maybe he wants to take this opportunity to pierce the window paper. The long-term pain is worse than the short-term pain." Mai Ching bit her lip, a little confused. She said, "From what I know about him in the past, he has an absolute ostrich personality. If a lion wants to eat him, he will stick his head in the sand. Even if he knows that the lion may bite him, he will not care when. Forget it, but if you want him to pull his head out of the sand and choose to face it head-on, it is absolutely impossible." After saying that, Mai Ching added, according to his previous behavior style, "He will never take the initiative to tell Elaine about my return. If he doesn't know, it means he has made money." Pollard frowned and said, "If you say so, then his decision is indeed a bit strange." After that, he asked, "Would you like me to call Charlie and ask?" "Forget it." Mai Ching waved her hands and said, "After all, Charlie is Jacob's son-in-law. It's not appropriate for us to speculate on Jacob behind his back. Let's just wait and see what happens. There are many guests on the wedding day, so we're not afraid of Elaine getting into trouble with us. Besides, didn't you invite Charlie to be the witness? With Charlie here, I believe Elaine will restrain himself a little." Mai Ching added, "If the time bomb of Elaine can be solved on this occasion, it will not be a bad thing, but I don't know if Jacob will be dealt with by Elaine in private. After the wedding is over, you remember to remind Charlie and ask him to pay more attention when he goes back." "No problem." Pollard nodded in agreement and said, "Then I will write an invitation to Jacob and invite him and his family to attend." Mai Ching nodded and said, "Okay, just write it like that." Pollard asked again, "By the way, how should I give it to him after I finish writing it?" Mai Ching said, "I will give it to him. He will have a modern calligraphy and painting class at the university tomorrow. I will take it to him when the time comes.